A non-governmental organization founded in Iloilo has been rehabilitating young victims of sexual abuse for over 2 decades now, and it seeks to continue its mission by helping more girls. We now speak with the founder of Cameleon Association, Laurence, Ligier. Laurence, thank you so much for joining us. Before we get into your organization, give us some numbers. How serious is the sexual abuse and violence of young girls in the country?
It's really a big problem. It's 1 out of 5 children being sexually abused in the Philippines. The same in Europe, but here really nobody is really taking care of them, very few NGOs. The SWD is doing its best, but this is not enough considering the number of children. So this is an urgent topic to take care of.
Indeed, a very serious issue. You have 3 centers under the Cameleon Association which can only accommodate 25 to 30 girls at one time. And that's only 75 to 80 or 90 when the problem is 1 out of 5 children. So who are the perpetrators?
Mostly family relatives, father, stepfather, grandfather, brother, cousins. So like say 80% are incest cases, and the rest is with people they know, a teacher, a neighbor, a friend of the family. It's not somebody like that on the corner of the street. That's also alarming.
Very alarming and a very serious problem indeed. And the highest occurrences of the sexual violence happens between which age group?
Unfortunately, very young, a few months old up to, well, of course, we take care of minors, so up to 18. But Cameleon is taking care of children beginning 5 years old to 18 years old, referred by the SWD to our center. Of course, we are accredited. And we help the girls, because they're all girls, up to the time she becomes independent, up to the time she can handle herself and her family. It's not always, the problem is not always within the family. So most of them are not abandoned and they can go home. Fortunately, we prepare them for that.
And what is the average time of a girl to stay in your center?
3 to 4 years, considering that she's not mentally challenged, because it can take 5 years then. If she's ready before, and the family and the community are ready, then of course we reintegrate them. This is very important to know that we don't just work with the child, but also the family and the community, of course. Of
course, it also takes time, right, to reintegrate them back into the family, back into the community, because these issues, these problems are very deep-seated.
Yes, it's big trauma. Of course, they have been abused many times by their family members. Some of them get pregnant of their own father, grandfather. You know, in the Philippines, abortion is not allowed. So, of course, the child is within the family. And some of the girls deliver at the age of 12 years old. So, yes, the trauma is big. And Cameleon put in place a holistic approach, all aspects, to help the child to, of course, to recover from the trauma. So medical, psychological, legal, we have cases against the perpetrator, educational. And
I wanted to ask you directly about the legal aspect. Are cases filed in the courts?
Yes. If the child is willing, we are not forcing, because this is...
But what is usually the ratio of a child willing to file a case against a father, a grandfather, an uncle who sexually abuses them?
In Cameleon, let's say 70% of them file cases. It takes 5 to 8 years because the justice system is
very slow here.
Lack of means, lack of training, lack of judges, and
also financing.
Yes, of course.
Because you also need the money to be able to file cases in the court. So in your view, Laurence, is the full arm of the law being used to put these perpetrators, the sexual abusers, behind bars?
The law in the Philippines is very strict. Now it should be known and applied, which is not always the case. And it's very happened that they are trying to requalify the crime, because rape is a crime, in an act of lasciviousness, you know, to fast track it and to reduce the sentence, or just to pay, to give money to the child or the family so she will redo the case. This is very common in the Philippines. So again, we are not forcing the child to undergo so many years of cases, which is traumatizing. If she's willing to settle down, then we do. But if she's not, then we fight. And sometimes it's dangerous. We have that threat also. But we have to give justice to these children if we want them to be fine one day.
Justice for these sexually abused girls. And you have lived here in the Philippines for quite some time, but now you spend half of your time in the Philippines and half of your time in France. What brought you here to the country and set up Cameleon Association in the Visayas?
I was very young, I was 19, I never traveled, and I decided, I was studying law at the time in France, and I decided to go to a country, not necessarily the Philippines, to give my help. And then the NGO that I contacted in France sent me to the Philippines, and sent me to Aklan, Panay, and sent me to Iloilo. So that's how I didn't know about the Region 6, the Western Visayas region, but I was assigned there. And of course I was shocked by what I saw. Many children in the streets, many children being prostituted in the Smoky Mountain, because I also work in Manila, and in the garbage. Many things that as a young European girl shocked me, and I tried to do a little more. But you know, when you step in, when you begin to give hope to the children, the family, or your co-workers, and you say, I will try to help, this is in a way a trap, because people trust you, you begin to do something, you give them hope, and you cannot stop.
But of course, Laurence, to be able to sustain Cameleon Association over more than 2 decades, you need a lot of support. You need the financial muscle to help a lot of these sexually abused girls. How are you doing that?
I tried all ways possible. So first, of course, in the Philippines, to find a place, a land, donation. I didn't want to buy it. Then to build a center, so I have to raise funds abroad. The French government, the Luxembourg government, the Belgian government, and then here in the Philippines, mobilizing some service club like the Zonta Club is really helping us since 2016. First the Zonta Makati Ayala, and then the Zonta Makati Environs, and then in Iloilo, and then the Zonta Bacolod. And
you have a lot of support.
Yes,
but this is a problem of the Philippines, but we're also seeking financial support from overseas. What is the ratio of your financial help? Is there more support here in the Philippines or overseas?
No, overseas, to be frank, the budget of Cameleon is about 85 million per year to raise, so mostly foreign funds, and the ratio is 90-10. So 10 only from the Philippines, which is not enough after 26 years.
Absolutely, it's not enough, and the problem is here, it's in our backyard.
Yes, and the foreign donors are asking also what is the counterpart, because local counterpart. So my effort and the effort of my team, because I'm not alone now, I have 65 Filipino workers, employees, very, very committed to their mission. So, and with the Board of Trustees of Cameleon, we are trying to raise funds locally, but we need more help, because you know, we are helping in all ways these children. It's not just to send them to school and give them a uniform. It's really to work in all aspects, so we are sure that they will not be abused again, and that they will break the cycle of violence at their level, not to reproduce for the next generation.
And we wish you all the best, and thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word. Thank you so much for helping our Filipino girls who were sexually abused.
Sure.
Laurence Ligier, founder of the Cameleon Association.